Hi guys, and welcome back to the book club. I'm really thankful for those of you guys who actually appreciate and watch my videos. I'm gonna do more of this at a quicker succession. I'm sorry for being a bit slow the past few weeks because it has been very hectic at work. And I just want to show you guys my new setup. I got kind of like a pack board over there with all the things that I love. I love working out, I love The Mandalorian, I love my dogs, I love reading, I love music, and yeah, so just kind of like a refresh to the background. And as this gets more and more serious, I'm kind of in Rage Studio, so as you guys can see. So jumping right in, we're gonna review this book called Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk. So if you guys don't know Gary Vaynerchuk or Gary Vee, he is this super serial entrepreneur who had actually invested in quite a lot of startups. He is one of the people who had actually had faith in social media back in the day. And also, if you guys don't know, Gary Vee is like all over TikTok and social media. He's super aggressive about his social media. So if you guys want, you guys can check his social media accounts out. But that being said, we are going to go into this book. So Crushing It is actually a sequel to Crush It. Crush It was published in 2009, where he talks about like, you know, you guys gotta go for your passion and do like personal branding. And this is kind of like a recap and also kind of update on the principles he wrote in Crush It. Actually, most of the book is actually real life stories by some of the people that wrote into Gary Vee. And he kind of like took their stories as like testimonials to how you can also do what they did for their businesses and for their own personal brand. So this book is a business book that is geared towards the marketing side. And I am honestly not very strong in marketing. I'm not naturally strong in marketing. Not like Rach, not like JJ, but I really wanted to learn how to go about marketing. And I think Gary Vee really changed some of the things that I thought about marketing before I actually got into his literature and his books. And there's also this new book that I'm reading now. It's called Day Trading Attention that he just released. And yeah, so let's jump right to the takeaways. I think one thing that Gary Vee has always been very strong about is personal branding. So personal branding, what this means is kind of like taking you as a person and what you really are passionate about. Like for me, I have like so many things that I'm passionate about. But for example, you love flowers and you create content about flowers, and then you kind of like you kind of build that, and then eventually you become like a florist. What he is saying there is that people should take advantage of what they are actually very passionate about and build on that and build their personal brand through social media, and which is the next point. So social media has kind of taken over the world. I have seen like companies that were doing normal, TV commercial, VFX stuff, and honestly, those are really dwindling and slowly slowing down. And the kind of like the production monies and the advertising dollars that used to go into these TV commercials, which could go even into the millions, are now just not spent on TV commercials anymore. And all of that is going into social media. There are so many platforms out there now, but each platform is really tailored for different types of content. What Gary Vee says is that you need to understand what that platform likes. You must use it enough to know what it likes and then put your content in the same way onto those platforms. For example, what he says is that don't just bank on Instagram. You should think about Facebook, you should think about Twitter, you should think about LinkedIn and YouTube, and even at that time Musical.ly, which is quite interesting. He actually says that Musical.ly is going to be a thing, and within a few years Musical.ly got bought by TikTok, and TikTok became like one of the largest social media platforms now today. The next key point that he talks about is really work ethic and patience. What he kind of advises against, which is what everyone advises against, is get rich quick kind of like schemes. It's always about hard work. Even if you are in the content economy, see people like getting viral and all that, but it's always about hard work. You should always think about building it with hard work, and with hard work comes stable revenue source, and people actually get credibility and all that. And the last big key concept that I want to talk about, that Gary Vee talks about in his book, is about monetizing your content. It's about monetizing your passion, and how you can monetize through affiliate programs, through ads, or even like launching a podcast or a YouTube channel to get like ad revenue from these platforms. But how do you go about that is what Gary Vee also always talks about, which is in his other book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, right? Which is about just constantly just giving free value and just provide value to people, even if it's for free. Through your social media content, you can provide value to people, give advice, or even just a laugh. So this book is incredibly practical. So I think you should get this book and actually read it for yourself. And because you kind of need to take the notes down and see what speaks to you and what doesn't. I'm just going to talk about the things that speak to me in terms of these practical tips that Gary Vee gives. So number one is authenticity. So you should always be kind of like authentic to who you are. I think people can tell when you are not authentic. That's what Gary Vee points out in his book. I think I'm really being authentic here about like what I like and what I think. Maybe it's more in an academic level. Maybe it's more academic than those people who know me, right? I'm kind of like a crazy guy, kind of like a clown. But when it comes to books and when it comes to knowledge, I am quite the stickler like how I am now. So I'm hoping that this shows, right? So this is number one, authenticity is key. Number two is, how do you actually create this content? So Gary Vee says to do the most efficient thing, document instead of create. So like for example, if you're a movie director, then you gotta like script everything out, and then lighting, set and everything, and then by the time you roll, it's already a few months. And I think that is what Gary Vee says. No, you're not doing a film, you're not doing a sitcom. This is content. You're not supposed to, and people don't actually really like content that is super curated, super like high production value. For example, what Rich does, right, is as she's going about her own day to day, she can vlog and she can really build this content and then from there, taking this content, edit it in a way that would fit the platform. And the next thing is about actually being on the social media. I think there are a lot of people, or at least brand accounts maybe, that they kind of like have the brand account, or like they have the account, but they they just post and they don't engage in the community. They don't like and they don't like comment and genuinely care about the community. Apparently the algorithm is so good that they can tell, and then these people will just not have their content boosted and fed to the community. And then the last thing is kind of like hustle, right? Gary Vee says you need to start now and you need to go all in on social media and stop planning and start working. If other people are doing like 5 posts a day, you're gonna do 6 posts a day, just keep going. Lastly, it's about really actually keeping up with the trends and always looking out. And in line with what I said about you actually using the platforms, right? If you use the platforms, then you'll be aligned with those new trend on social media that you can jump on. And I think what Daniel Pink said in his book previously that I shared was that the economy is starting to gravitate towards becoming a bit more small solopreneur, or like small and medium enterprise type of businesses. And that's, I mean, to me it's really interesting, which is true, because with the help of AI and with the help of globalization, it's so easy to build a business with minimal manpower and not bloat, right? I mean, yes, there's always super big players, but there's also like small little setups. I think what Gary Vee says about personal branding is so important in that landscape. The big companies are starting to bloat. With more of these SaaS tools and with more of AI, it's easy to kind of like make things redundant in certain businesses, in certain workflows, right? So as we go along, there will be so many of these people building these small businesses and getting so big revenues, and eventually in my opinion, this is just my take for now. It might change, that eventually there will be so many, it will go back to kind of like the ancient days, right, where there will be solopreneurs and SMEs that are just doing their own thing in the tech space, in digital space, or even not in the, or even in the brick and mortar space, but as a small player with minimal employees. If I'm a small company, it is more and more important really to build your personal brand in this day and age. And even I would say to survive, as we know so many companies are just letting go of their staff. Like even one of the big banks, I think over the past week said, so to really survive, building your personal brand and actually being unashamed about what you do and what you're passionate about and monetizing it, and then actually building a small business may be the way forward, rather than actually going to big corporation and trusting that the corporate ladder will bring you up. This is just my opinion. There's nothing against employees and all. I say this in a caveat, please don't cancel me. But I think this is just my view, and also probably why I go along this path that I'm starting to take now. Okay, so now it's time for the verdict, right? So in terms of the difficulty level, this is, in my opinion, drum roll, commoner level. So why I say it's commoner, but is that it's actually, though it's written quite like simply, there are some concepts that you would have to understand. Like you have to kind of understand how social media or marketing works at a very base level. And to understand that, I don't think anyone that you pick on the street will understand. So I think it may be kind of like a 3.5 out of 5. Yeah, maybe you kind of like want to do a refresher on marketing and social media and content for a bit before you start reading this book. And the next thing is the change my life meter. For me, this is the epiphany level. So why do I say that? I think for some people it is not, but for me it is. I am going to focus more on my content a little bit more, try to develop the strategies, use the strategies in the book to actually build the life that I want to build. So I think what I got out of the book, and also from Gary Vee as through his content, is really that, you know, you have a passion and you should go and try to make money out of your passion, try to make it your career. And I know there are some people out there who, other people, which I don't think they are wrong also, that they think that, you know, you shouldn't make your passion your job and all that. I think it is something that I've tried the last 4 years, doing things that I kind of don't, not really on my passion, kind of things that I don't really like being a lawyer and doing like corporate work and doing compliance and all that, which is, I mean, I'm good at it, but I don't really love it. But I have so many other passions that I think that it's possible to build something out of it. I don't know what yet, but we'll see how it goes. And that's how it kind of like is gonna change my life, in my opinion. And let's see how it turns out after this few years. So really, I think this book is a good book. Although some of the real life stories are a bit draggy, I think it's a really good book to kind of like get yourself fueled up to actually do something about your life and about marketing and our business, and actually, you know, getting a side hustle out. I think you should get this book, and also probably get the other books like Day Trading Attention. Jab, 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 Right Hook is on my reading list. I will read it and I will review it when I finish reading it. Thank you guys once again for watching this video. If you find that this is super useful, give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. And if you have a book that you want me to read, please write it in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next week.